So from the update, I can tell that Hulk is getting a rework. The rework is confirmed. The rework is confirmed today based on the the dev outlook and the patch notes for season 6. They confirmed it without saying it. And then I'm going to explain it why and tell you the state of Hulk in the next upcoming update. So, for me playing other games, specifically like Apex, and recently released like a dev log, if you say, where they talk about different states of the game and why they make some decisions, and they gave graphs and other fancy things, and we can see certain characters, i.e., Bloodhound, who's uh, double far right in the furthest left down quadrant. So that means it is done by pick rate and win engagement essentially. And Bloodhound is picked very little, and also Bloodhound's win engagement rate is very little. And in that post, when they was explaining why certain things take longer, is because they say at sometimes a character needs a fundamental rework. And having that been said, the process of implementing it and testing and working through the design and balance state of the rework takes a longer duration of time. I think Hawk is in that state right now. Yes, Hawk's win rate is fairly good. Let me look at his win rate specifically, but yeah, Hawk win rate is above 50%. I believe is around like 53%, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit worse, but 50. He usually hangs around 52 to like 53%, which is very high. But the issue is Hawk has a very niche player base, and the players that play Hawk have, I don't want to say essentially mastered this kit, but it is akin to a Penny situation where before she was picked more frequently as she is currently due to the rocket and the buffs that she had, but she has always maintained a high win rate, and the players that was playing her wasn't doing what they would do with Black Widow, in which case you pick Black Widow to throw. No, they would pick Penny in instances where she's good and they're trying to win with her. Similar situation with Hulk. Hulk players, they have more or less mastered this kid and play style, and they can find success. So even while he's bad, we have a small group of niche players that can find success playing the Hulk. As of currently, my all-time win rate as a solo player predominantly, I'm at like 62 to 65% with a few hundred hours, maybe closer to 1,000 hours on all my accounts. My point in saying that is to say all that, which was very long-winded, was to say that Hulk, with the upcoming changes, they confirmed that yes, we know his kit is lacking in many aspects and he needs a buff. And in doing so, we're going to rework him. However, while we wait for the rework, this is what we're going to give you. That's basically what they told us, right? And at this point is literally just a numbers game to until he's like, oh, you gotta pick the Hawk because his numbers is so dominant. But until then, I think the changes that he has, it doesn't change his neutral game at all, and it just changes his ultimate game. His ultimate game has gotten buffed up, and he's going to be really strong in alt. However, his ultimate game has got buffed up significantly. However, his base Hero Hawk form is virtually the same. We're going to play Hero Hawk predominantly the same. However, the buff, which I'm going to read it out now, um, Hawk's incredible leap. The charge time has went from half a second to, zero point 0.4 seconds. So it went from 0.5 seconds to 0.4 seconds. Again, it's a numbers game. You ain't gonna play them differently. You're gonna leap at right there instead of right here. You know, there's virtually gonna be no difference there. And then the max charge time is gonna be 0.7 seconds, which in his alt that's where it's at instead of 2 seconds. So realistically, the leap is virtually unchanged. Again, it's a numbers game. If you get these numbers to a low enough point, yes, it will be very strong. His movement is already fine as is. His clap is going to have a 2 second reduction and is going to do 75 damage instead of 70. So we got an additional 2.5 claps per minute, but in reality, if we go on a singular minute basis, you went from 7 claps to 10 claps. So in turn, we just gained what's that? We gained 3 additional claps. Um, and we do the math on that. But for the extra 5 base damage, we just gained 225 raw damage just based on the 3 claps. And if we take it in the totality of the change, 490, 75 times 10 minus 490, we have acquired a 260 damage per minute increase. Because as of currently, just per claps, you have 490 damage per minute based on claps, and with the update, you're going to have 750 base damage based on claps per person hit. Um, over the course of a minute. So that's the difference of 4 basics, 5 basics, 4.5 basics. So again, that doesn't change the issue of what happens when we play Hawk. You leap in, you do some basics, you do a clap, you do some basics, or you leap in, clap, basics, done. It doesn't change his breakpoints. It does not change Hawk breakpoints at all. So the issues that he has, he will remain having them. It ain't a bunch of situations where, oh, you just spamming shields. Your shield is going to break instantly still anyway, unless it isn't a bunch of damage being diverted to you. So that doesn't necessarily change. However, it will change the fact that since the cooldown of clap itself is on 6 seconds and the cooldown on bubble is 10 seconds, you can get 2 claps per bubble. Because if I'm not mistaken, and I know I'm not mistaken, your bubble goes on cooldown the moment you use it. No, yeah, so once it goes on cooldown, you can get a clap in. As soon as you use it, essentially, you can get a clap in while it's on cooldown to reduce it to 9 seconds, and then you get an additional clap to further reduce it as well. So you're going to take 2 seconds off of each bubble. So now your bubbles cool down at base, and I'm just all this is always geared upon hitting one person. So at base, your bubble cooldown is 8 seconds technically. You went from so you lost, you gained an additional second of uptime. So you go to 7.5 bubbles a minute. None of this changed his problem. His alt has always been pretty solid to me. I think if you getting CC'd to death, usually that's a Hawk problem, the player problem, not the character problem. If you just leaping in because he can do big damage like that, so I think he should have some counterplay in the regard of, oh, you play Hawk, you leaping in by yourself. Yeah, we should be able to sleep you. We should be able to manipulate you. But I do like the changes of certain CCs, which is knockbacks and knockups. He being immune to a Monster Hawk form, that is a welcome change, and that doesn't make it so he's uncounterable. But as it stands, Hawk is going to be in the same exact position. The players who's good with him just got slightly better, slightly more uptime, and the players that can't use him is still going to face the same issues. And in the meta, he still was going to face the same issues. If we look through the roster, um, multiple characters literally hard counters Hawk, even in monster form. And let's just look at the monster form hard counters. We have Emma Frost, maybe you say Angela with her alt, Rogue counters Thing counters in essence of making him stationary. And his alt can also counter Hawk. Groot can counter him with his alt. Penny still counters him. That's one, two, three, four, five, six characters counting his alt. Um, Generally very effectively. Uh, in regards to the CC, that should still work on him. What's this one? Outside of let's not even talk about alt. Let's just talk about outside of alt and all the characters that can counter what Hawk is trying to do. Obviously, Hawk can counter his own self. Magneto has CC that counters. Cap has stuff. These two never really engage each other. But one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine characters, right? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Yeah, nine characters out of the Vanguards counter Hawk very hard. 9 out of 12, that's 75%. Shotgun Punisher is stupid against Hawk. Hawkeye is stupid against Hawk. Hella is stupid against Hawk. Magic, Squirrel Girl, Moon Knight, Spider-Man in certain instances, Scarlet, Star-Lord, Bucky, Wolverine, Iron Fist, Phoenix, Mr. Fantastic, Blade, Daredevil. Every last one of those characters play well against the Hawk. Like, they don't worry about the Hawk. Rocket, Manus, Loki, Luna, Adam, Jeff, Invisible Woman, Gambit, all those characters play very well against the Hawk. So again, that's upwards to 80 to 90% of the cast that plays very well into the Hawk or literally hard counters the Hawk. However, some of that does change, a great deal of that does change within the ultimate. But that's the ultimate. Most characters' ultimates is pretty much always good anyway. It's very rare that you'll see like, oh, this ultimate is always bad. Ultimates, I look aside ultimates when I'm generally basing their kit around. And then if I am throwing an ultimate in, it's in addition to their kit because maybe their ultimate charges really fast so you can use it fairly consistently. And it's just more of another ability, you know. So having that being said, Hulk damage numbers literally almost doesn't change. And the most important damage numbers we need to understand is burst. Burst is the king of a game like this, and we look at a burst window of about 2 seconds. Most characters in about 2 seconds they can get their burst out there. So for like Meg, you'll go here, here, and then another set of primaries, and that's about a 2 second window. So if you go here, primary, here, she's almost dead. That's I believe 240 damage. That take about 2 seconds to do. 240 damage in 2 seconds. Same thing with Captain America. He got a combo. I haven't played Cap in a while, so I can't display it effectively. Same thing with Angela. And if their max damage combo is longer, it's probably because it has some type of displacement or CC in it. But all of these characters outside of Thing, and I believe Thing is different because his niche is different. Thing doesn't have a "I'm gonna kill you in 2 seconds" niche. He has a I'm a brawler and I'm an anti-diver niche. So his damage numbers actually is different. Hulk is a dive brawler, so Thing is an anti-dive brawler. Well, he's a brawler anti-dive specifically. Hulk is a dive brawler. So they play differently, but pretty much all of these characters have a situation where in a 2 second window of time, they can pretty much 100 to 0 any character, any 250 character in the game. They have a very high efficiency on doing that, especially if you try to master that burst window skill. In which case, if any of these characters and most of these characters disrespecting the damage that these characters can display, they die for that. And Hulk doesn't have that. Hulk is the premier example of I need to die with someone else. So we take Hulk in 2 seconds, he does 80 damage per second, a little bit more than that, but in 2 seconds it's going to be 80 damage a second because both of his basics is 40 damage. That's 160 damage plus the 75 damage from the clap, which is going to be 235 damage in 2 seconds. Now, the issue with that is the distance you have to be and the time of how the 2 seconds happen is different. So if you just full health now. So let's say you leap in with a clap, and then you go. That's very long. Where at that point Luna sleeps you. I mean, Luna freezes you, Mana sleeps you. Maybe if you bubble it out, yes, you win that engagement. But the level of skill that it takes to be able to anticipate that, and from this person's perspective, I just want people to understand something. From that person's perspective, you are a large target. Like, you are huge. All right, let me just give a quick demonstration. Like, for these targets, when you leap in on them, if they really thinking about defending themselves, you are a huge target as Hulk. So the distance is 4.5 meters for him to do anything. Look at this hitbox. This hitbox is massive. This hitbox is literally massive. Like, you gotta be missing by a mile to miss this. So, that's the reality of what people are seeing. And in fact, Hulk ain't throwing basics from here. Hulk is trying to be here. You literally cannot miss this almost. Like, you gotta be way off to miss this. This is where Hulk is trying to play. I desperately need people to understand that this is where Hulk is trying to make his money. Right here in your face. You damn near have to be blind to miss this man. So for him to have to be this close to do his 235 damage in his 2 seconds, actually it's longer than 2 seconds because the clap itself has about a 1 second animation time, like a 0.75 seconds or so animation time. It's taking you about 3 seconds to do 235 damage. His state does not change. Therefore, long video short, they're in the process of reworking him. And they're giving us these whatever buffs for the time being. That's all that is. It's like, oh, we doing whatever. We doing whatever to try to make them usable until the buff is out. Until the rework is out, I'm sorry. But that's the video. I'm going to post a little bit more frequently. And until next time.